there's another piece of movie news. There's a piece of movie news that is of particular interest to us on the show.
I know what you're going to talk about.
We're talking about Tarantino. And I have definite thoughts about this. So I'll get you guys' thoughts first, and then I'll expand upon why I think this casting is perfect. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino's latest film, they announced new casting details. They've cast regulars: Kurt Russell, Michael Madsen, Tim Roth. I don't know if all three are playing roles like this, but Michael Madsen says the role he's playing is an actor in the movie within the movie. They're shooting a Western TV show or Western movie in the movie, and he plays an actor in that movie. But the big casting news in regards to that movie is they just cast Burt Reynolds as George Spahn, the owner of the Spahn Ranch, which is where the Manson family resided between Spahn Ranch and Barker Ranch during the time of the murders. So, Dean, obviously Burt is near and dear to your heart. You must have leapt out of your seat when you read this news.
I was so thrilled. It's just I like to think that I don't know, maybe something in the interview that we did, because I remember telling him at one point, I don't know if it made it into the final thing, but I told him at one point, I said, well, you should really reach out and work with a lot of directors that you might be afraid to work with. I don't know, maybe you might feel like they were too strong or something for you. And I'm really happy about this Tarantino news because, Tarantino was named for Burt Reynolds' character. He was named for the character Quint in Gunsmoke. So I was always wondering when Quentin Tarantino and Burt Reynolds were going to work together. And this seems like the perfect opportunity. So it should be great. I don't know how big of a role it'll be. George Spahn isn't really a big player in the whole Manson family, I guess, saga. But he's certainly an important part of it, and it could be great. It could be really great to see Burt in a movie by Tarantino. So I'm excited about it. I mean, this project just keeps getting more and more exciting as the days go by, and by the time it comes out, people are going to be frothing at the mouth to see it. So,
wouldn't you want to be out there and see some of the recreations of the time and the place?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be really amazing, and it'll have great music in it, and I just sense that everybody's going to be firing on all cylinders on this. So,
and as expected, Robert Richardson is coming back to DP it.
Great.
As well. But and Adam, you and I were talking about this earlier, that you can't recreate Cielo because that house is gone. So where Tate and Polanski lived. So I'm hoping that they do an accurate reproduction of that house, because they're going to have to show it. I mean, the plot is that they're neighbors on that road.
Oh yeah,
Gabriel and Tate. Yeah, so that's a particular point of interest for me as well, because I have great nostalgia for a house I never saw in person. But I think it was a beautiful house before they broke it down and turned it into a McMansion that is owned by the creator of Full House, of all people.
Wow, that's interesting. Wow.
But here's my thoughts. Here's my thoughts on Burt Reynolds and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I have a feeling he probably has a great monologue in it. And I think when I read this news, I thought, well, so they really are delving more into the Manson L.A. than I thought by having George Spahn be included as a character, because George Spahn is so uniquely suited to speak to the changing of the times as defined by the Manson murders.
That's true.
Because George Spahn ran this ranch. What was the ranch's reputation? It was where they shot a lot of old westerns. And this movie is about the passing of the old Hollywood to the new, where DiCaprio, who stars in all these TV westerns and stuff, he feels like he's being thrown aside for a new generation, and he's frustrated by that. It's about how Hollywood changed in that era. And I think George Spahn is probably like the spine between those two. I think he's going to use him in that way.
I hope so. I hope it's not just a 5-minute performance. I hope it's a real substantial role.
Yeah, me too.
George Spahn was blind, and he let them stay at the ranch, and they pampered him for that luxury, the girls and what have you.
That probably doesn't rub Burt Reynolds the wrong way to be fawned over by a bunch of young girls as part of the role.
And Burt Reynolds is perfect because, like you said with Gunsmoke, he started at TV westerns. He has a history of being part of that classic old Hollywood that they're talking about in this movie.
Yeah.
So
I think he'll be able to bring something very personal to it. So it's a golden opportunity for Burt.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, is this the character that he first approached Pacino for? I don't know, because he's been talking like Pacino has his interest in Pacino for a role. I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Well, I hope
Burt Reynolds is infinitely better. Burt Reynolds is infinitely better for George Spahn than Pacino would have been. But this makes a lot more sense with Reynolds.
Yeah, for sure.